Hello, everybody, and welcome into Bad for Baseball, the baddest baseball podcast on the internet, presented to you by Betway. I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog, joined alongside by Adam Peddle. Shout out to the new setup, everybody. It took the boys a little while to figure some stuff out. There is still some things in the works, but we're going to be up in the production value here rather shortly, everybody. In the meantime, let's talk Chicago Cubs baseball, folks. This is a sneaky good team. They are not getting enough media coverage, but they've made a lot of smart moves this offseason, which we're going to break down, look at some of their acquisitions, look at some of the people that left from that organization, and then just talk overall, where do we see the Chicago Cubs team going, right? I'll put it this way. If there is like one kind of dark horse team that I could see going relatively far, might be the Chicago Cubs. I'm going to start off with that.
I disagree. I think they, not that they're going to not go far. I think they are not even a dark horse. I think people are talking about them like legit guys. After they traded for Kyle Tucker, which we're going to talk about, after they traded for Ryan Presley, and then the year that Imanaga had, the year that Imanaga had, building on top of Justin Steele, like, this team is legit, and when you look at a NL Central that you had some subtractions happening there from the Brewers and not a lot else happening else in other teams, like, this team feels like the clear favorite, and, you know, the media, I mean, maybe we're not used to it, but the media over there is, like, hyping the shit out of the Chicago Cubs.
That's true. Obviously, we do not live in Chicago, but I would anticipate that if you do, you're getting a lot of coverage of one baseball team, not a whole lot of the other one. But with all that being said, let's just immediately flash over here, everybody, to the Fangraphs page. Shout out to Fangraphs for just having the greatest collection of statistics, man. Just honestly, everything that you need to see here. First thing that I want to highlight here is some of the people that they added, some of the people that they lost. Who are some names that jump off the page to you right now?
Yeah, I mean, right off the page, longtime Cubby, Kyle Hendricks, he's gone. He was kind of on the back half of his career, so it's not like a complete loss.
Isn't he like 50?
No, he's got to be like late 30s.
He's like up there, man.
He's going to retirement land in L.A. He's going to the retirement team.
He gets himself. Okay, actually, I was so disrespectful. He's 35 years old. I genuinely thought, like, obviously 50 was an overreaction.
Yeah.
I thought he was like 40, 41 or something. Like,
just been around for a while.
He's been around forever,
man. Nick Madrigal down here kind of highlights it for me. And then they also traded away Isaac Paredes, who's not going to be on this list right here, but they traded him in that Kyle Tucker deal. But I mean, let's be honest, pound for pound, I like Kyle Tucker a lot better.
Paredes he's a great player, but ultimately, Kyle Tucker could genuinely win MVP.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. They also lost Tuchman, Bethancourt, Amante Lopez. Jorge Lopez is a pretty good one.
Don't sleep on Bethancourt, everybody. Sneaky good. Honestly, could have a massive breakout season.
Yeah, because we're Toronto Blue Jay fans. Yeah. Amazing backup catcher for Alejandro Kirk. But those are some standouts for me. Now, who they added, of course, like we've been saying all podcast.
Yeah.
Kyle Tucker. That's the reason why they're jumping in the over-under totals, which we'll get to at the end of this podcast. He's phenomenal. And then you look at their bench. It's a completely new bench. They got Carson Kelly, Justin Turner, who we're going to break down in a little Seattle Mariner podcast later. Okay. Justin Turner on the bench, John Birdie, Vidal Brujan. That's a whole new bench.
Those are some names, man.
Those are that's an actual good bench. Like bench guys, that's a good bench.
No, I know. Like, every single one of those guys are major leaguers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Justin Turner can come off the bench, give you a good at-bat, and then I'm not opposed to any of this. Look at Carson Kelly, the 1.8, WAR last year.
Yeah, dude.
And it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Like, from a bench standpoint, that is on it. Like, that's wealth right there.
Oh, of course.
That's wealth.
Right? And now to the pitching staff, they added to the back end right there. Getting Matthew Boyd, sneaky kind of good pickup. I mean, he had a good 40-game sample size over there, but in Cleveland. But we'll see if he can continue that in Chicago. Colin Ray coming over. Now, here's the other big trade they also made for the Houston Astros, getting Ryan Presley to anchor that back end of the bullpen. We all know how good Ryan Presley's been. He had a little bit of a down year last year. Still had 56 innings pitched in 3.49 ERA.
Yeah.
And then they go and they traded for Ryan Brazier from the Dodgers, who they literally cut, and now is their back end guy. Like, can you believe that? They cut the Dodgers, Ryan Brazier, and now he's slotted in to the third best reliever spot on the Chicago Cubs. That's insane to me. Because they cut him and then
right.
they DFA'd him,
right.
and then they traded for him while he's going through waivers.
Well, that's just the wealth, overwhelming wealth over there on the Dodgers team organization as a whole. I can't wait till we get there, and I can just like my jaw drops and hits the floor when I see their fan graph page.
I know.
But ultimately, I think in general, based off everything that we just highlighted right there, more added than subtracted.
Way more.
Like there is, and the pieces that you let go, I mean, ultimately, the pieces that you got back, they're big time, right?
Yeah.
Like Presley, Presley has been known in the past to rack up 30+ saves, right? And Kyle Tucker is like genuinely could win MVP, and you can't say that for everybody, folks, but like this is somebody that could. And when you look at that lineup, right, you got Ian Happ, Seiya Suzuki, Bush Swanson. There's a lot of players in there that I think are like solid lineup guys, but they were missing that one superstar to kind of like build it all around. Now you have it in Kyle Tucker, and it just makes everybody in their respective spot look that much better.
Yeah, and you know what I really like about this team, too, is they're also very good defensively speaking. When I'm looking over at Dansby Swanson, everyone kind of looks like, oh, the bat regressed after he had that final year in Atlanta, but he's still a very good defender. 4.3 WAR out of Dansby Swanson. Like, that's awesome right there. Ian Happ's a very good defender. You also got Nico Horner.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Pete Crow Armstrong, he's pretty elite, too,
I got it right up here. Not
there
so much in the bat right now.
Yes.
22 years old. Maybe that develops, we'll see. But holy crap. Like, this guy, I don't know if he won Gold Glove last year, but, like, if he didn't, it's coming. Yeah. And then the sprint speed's phenomenal. So he's got some great other tools right there. So they filled it out with the bat. They got the beautiful defense and some great base running right here. It feels like everything's kind of coming together for the Chicago Cubs, because when I look at the lineup, there's not really a guy there that doesn't play a role. You could argue Matt Shaw, but that's their prospect right now.
Yeah.
We'll see if he comes up and does something. But there's guys that are doing things for this team.
Yeah, 100%. And it looks like his overall rank in all of baseball is 13.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Is that good? You tell me. No, this team to me looks like much improved. And last year a lot of people were kind of they were getting on the train. You know what I mean? Like when the season started, like there was a lot of people like slowly hopping on the train, and it didn't really go the way that everybody wanted it to. Obviously, like missing playoffs and all that stuff. But this feels like we were maybe 1 year ahead last year, and because this team right here, I don't see that many holes. Like, no, they're not the Dodgers and everything like that, but you got an ace in your staff. You got a solid number 2. You traded for your elite closer. It's just like I like this team a lot.
Yeah, Imanaga. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I believe so. You did.
Let's go, Imanaga. That was just an awesome addition for them last year. I mean, hell, he's even ranked 11th right now by Fangraphs. And you pair him up with Steele that he broke out prior years, and he was looking like a bona fide stud, right?
Yeah, dude.
He had a bit of an injury last year. That's why he only pitched 134 innings, but still very quality stuff. And you can
basically never been bad.
No, never, right? The year prior, he was Cy Young 5, right, and an All-Star. So that's 2 legit number. Like those guys can both be the ace. And like it could be both the ace. You could have 2 aces on your little staff right here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that they're very top good. I like the Jameson Tyone number 3. That's a nice guy. 4 and 5, we'll see. Maybe they make a trade at the deadline. They got prospects. Maybe they go ship off some of those guys and go get something in return to fill out the rotation or even fill out the bullpen too. Because even the bullpen, like last year, yeah, they got Presley, which is awesome. But they're in the middle of the pack bullpen. But by the trade deadline, everybody needs some bullpen help. So regardless, I'm looking at right now, Nick, like an above average team, and then when you put them in the NL Central, that amplifies the potential this team could be.
And I'm looking at Colin Ray right now, who's their 5th pitcher, projected to be. I mean, like last year, he pitched 167 innings, and the guy had a 4.29 ERA.
Yeah, it gives you innings.
As your 5th pitcher, 4.29 ERA.
Yeah.
He was on the Milwaukee Brewers. He went 12-6.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like you will win games even with this guy, and especially with the lineup that you have. So no, like, this is a team that is built for success. They are going to farm wins, probably off of the St. Louis Cardinals, probably off of the Cincinnati Reds,
the Pirates.
They should farm some wins off of the bad teams. And you look at this roster, this needs to be we win the division, we make playoffs, or bust. Because when you make a big investment into Kyle Tucker, and God only knows, too, like, there's that whole other element. I know as Toronto Blue Jays fans, we're going through it right now with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Same kind of thing over there in Chicago. What's going to happen with Kyle Tucker? Is he going to, like, when he hits free agency, which he probably will do, are we going to be able to get him back? We obviously want to make a good impression. We want him to do well. So, like, there's all of these things. You might not have him next year.
Yeah.
And if you don't, well, what was this? Like a 1-year window? Like, you got to capitalize right now, and I do think that they're in a good spot to do so.
Yeah, I mean, they can really impress him, right? I mean, we have heard, though, that in this offseason, granted, we're getting very close to the regular season, so negotiation talks might be slowing down, but we have heard that he's open to an extension talk. Granted, that has not happened. The team is very interested in getting him back. I think you're right. It's going to be like a Guerrero situation. He's going to see how this team is. If they pop off, and Kyle Tucker's mentioned, like, hey, this team could be going on a run for a while, and if they give me the money, well, I'm here.
Exactly.
But he has to. He has to go, especially when you look at the market. No one talks about him ever.
I don't know
why. It's
why.
all about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and not him.
And honestly, he's 1 year older. So, I mean, like, not that big of a difference, but okay, fine. He's 1 year older. His statistics, career-wise, are better.
They're better. And he's more of a five-tool player.
Yes.
He can play defense. He can steal the bases. That's Vladdy can't
do
that.
Don't get me wrong. I fucking love Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but Kyle Tucker is a bona fide stud.
Yes.
And quite literally should be. Like, he could be a $500 million guy, dude, if he has a good
that's
year.
what I'm saying. If Vladdy's getting in talks right now of like $600 million.
That's too much. Like,
dude.
Even if Guerrero goes out and, like, pops 40 plus this year, I'm still gonna say that 600 is too much.
$600 million?
It's too much.
But if he's getting $600 million, Kyle Tucker should get $800 million. If that's the fucking market. What I'm saying?
You might be onto something there, dude. Which is ultimately why I think he's gonna hit free agency. Just because I do even though the media might not be covering him as much as they should, there are gonna be baseball executives that are like, oh damn, that is somebody that we want on our team. Point being, he's a good player. They want to keep him. All they have him for right now is 1 year, and they gotta make it count. What's the over-under from Betway? Quick shout out here to Betway, everybody. If you want to hop on, then please do so. It is the place to go if you have any interest at all in sports betting. What's the line? Chicago Cubs win-loss record 2025.
This for me feels like an easy decision of what I'm gonna pick. I think I know where you're gonna pick too. The line is 86.5.
86.5
for a team last year without Kyle Tucker, without Ryan Presley, who won 83 games. And that was with a pretty good Brewers team who had Willie Adames and Devin Williams shutting it down. And then now you're getting a regressing Cardinals team. Maybe a little bit bump from the Reds. Maybe a little bit bump from the Pirates. We'll see. But this Cubs team improved mightily with 83 wins. Last year, they're asking for 87 to go the over. Where are you at? It's even odds right now.
That's shocking to me, actually.
I know.
That it's even odds.
You'd think you'd be like favored in the over.
Heavily favored on the over, and I am certainly going to be hitting the over on it.
Yes.
I know we haven't seen it yet with this team, but I believe that it's coming, and I don't know if they're going to win the division because Milwaukee. I still do believe that Milwaukee is gonna piece together a good team. They always do, but I could easily see them, finishing second in the division with 91 wins and still being a great baseball team. So smashing the over confidently.
Yeah, I have them. I have them winning the division. I think I made a little video talking about it, and I had them just slightly over the Brewers because I still believe the Brewers will be still pretty decent. But 88 wins, 89 wins feels like for me at least, feels like their floor in a season that everything kind of goes as expected.
Exactly.
88-89.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
go
But you
Cubs.
guys, let us know in the comments down below. What do you have going on for the Chicago Cubs? Does Cal Tucker stay there? Where do they finish this season? We want to hear your thoughts down below.
Yeah, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to Bad for Baseball, and we'll catch you next time.
Cheers.